graph in economics. The weightage of this chapter in your board examination is of 8 marks. 1 mark, 1 question, 2 marks, 2 question. That equals to 1 plus 4, 5. And 3 mark, 1 question, that total equals to 8 marks. So in this chapter, we are going to understand regarding the diagram, regarding the graph, importance of graph and diagram, which elements or aspects are included in this diagram and graph. Next part is types of diagram. They have specified the 3 types of diagram which we are going to understand in this chapter. Next is type of graph, and last part is use of technology in the study of economics. These all things we are going to understand in this chapter. So first of all, meaning of diagram and graph. Firstly, they have specified the meaning of diagram. Diagram is an observation in which you can analyze the data. That means आपको वहाँ पे एक पिक्चर दिया रहेगा, उसका प्रॉपर आपके हिसाब से समझ सकते हो. It is a self-explanatory. Self-explanatory means बोले तो जैसे हमें किसी की जरूरत नहीं है उसे समझाने के लिए, हम उसे अपनी खुद से समझ सकते हैं, उसे हम कहेंगे self-explanatory. So diagram is an observable and we can analyze the picture. Second part, it is a self-explanatory. They have specified we can understand the diagram without the help of the statistical tools or statistical data. There is no requirement for the statistical data, just it is a picture. For example, advertisement companies are making advertisement, some graphics on the government schemes or regarding the traffic instructions. These are all the examples of the diagram. But graph is not a self-explanatory. That means in graph you require proper information, such as whether it is a discrete information or whether it is in a continuous information, continuous distribution information. For example, in standard level you have understand regarding the mean, median, mode in different types, such as discrete data, raw data, discontinuous, continuous distribution. So in graph, all these things are required to understand. For example, you have to find out a graph on the height of the students in a class. So you require the proper information regarding the each and every students in the class. So we can say that it is not a self-explanatory. For graph, you require proper information, statistical information, so that you can get proper picture on it. That means you can get proper understanding on it. These all things you require in graph. So they have specified the examples of a discrete distribution and continuous distribution in the textbook. So in discrete, there is not a range. That means from 0 to 5, 0 to 10. This all data we can say that it is a part of a continuous distribution. But in the part of discrete distribution, the data is made like 2 students of 5 marks, 7 students of 10 marks, so and so. That all data we can say that discrete distribution, and the data which is in the range, that means from the lower limit till the upper limit, that data we can say that it is a part of the continuous distribution. So they have specified the importance of a diagram and graph in economics. Total they have specified 6 importance of diagram as well as graph. First point is the subject of economics which is perceived as difficult and complicated is made easier by the way of diagram and less confusing by the way of graph. So they have specified that it is easier for you to understand in the form of diagram, and it may be slightly complicated while you get a review, while you get the proper picture of a graph. So it is, we can say that it is slightly confusing. Next part is trends of a certain economic parameters over various years can be observed through a single diagram or graph. Suppose I want to find the data of last 3-4 years in the form of diagram and graph. So I can get the proper trend. So in the year 2016, 16, 17 it is increasing or decreasing, so that I can analyze in the upcoming years जो आने वाले साल है उसमें क्या होगा, वो डेटा में जो मेरे को स्पेसिफाई किया है वो मेरा बढ़ रहा है या कम हो रहा है. नेक्स्ट पार्ट, चेंजेस occurring in the various sector of the economy can also be easily understood. So in economy we can say that agriculture sector, industrial sector, service sector, the changes we are coming day by day, the changes which are occurring day by day, we can come to know it is proper or not, what actual changes we should make in the sectors we belong, that all things you should keep in your mind. Next is a comparison can be easily drawn for the distribution of some economic parameters between group, classes, region, sector as well as the time period. Even you can compare the diagram and graph, various region, various group, various classes, so that you can come to know who is better. Next part is when many aspects of economics which are found apparently difficult are presented through a diagram graph, the time and efforts of a presenter in explaining and of the reader understanding this aspect is same. Listen, first of all, with the help of diagram and graph, it is becoming slightly easier compared to making an explanation regarding the data. So the time part is the first part you are saving it, and second you can say that you are saving your energy also. But with the help of diagram and graph, there is no requirement of an explanation. The data is presented, even the diagram and graph is also presented. And last part is certain difficult principles of economics are easy to understand with the help of diagram and graph. For example, the concept of expansion and contraction of demand and supply, price elasticity, etc. The trend of the macroeconomics parameters can be classified by the way of time series graph. For instance, short run and long run irregular fluctuation in agriculture or regular fluctuations in the industry are calculated by the method of time series, and the trends are presented by the way of time series graph. In statistical part, you are going to understand one chapter, that is time series. In that, you are going to understand what trend actually the company or the organization is making on the past year as well as on the future years. So they have specified certain principles which are difficult to understand conceptually. So with the help of diagram and graph, it becomes slightly easier. For example, in economics we are studying regarding the demand and supply. So expansion and contraction. With the help of this diagram and graph, you get proper picture. You get proper idea what actually is going on organization, whether it is your firm, industry or company. So it is a major role playing in the microeconomics part. वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. जैसे आप डिमांड की बात करो, सप्लाई की बात करो, वहाँ पे आपको प्रॉपर एक पिक्चर मिल जाता है कि डायग्राम से ये प्रॉपर चल रहा है, सिचुएशन में कुछ चेंजेस लाना चाहिए नहीं लाना चाहिए, मार्केट में मेरा जो गुड्स है उसकी कितनी डिमांड है, वो एक्सपांड हो रहा है, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो रहा है, ये सब चीज़, प्राइस इलास्टिसिटी, मार्केट में कौन से रेट पे मेरे गुड्स बिकेंगे, ये सब प्रॉपर रिव्यू आपको मिलेगा with the help of diagram and graph. These all are the importance of diagram and graph. Now next is aspects to be considered while drawing your graph. Which all things you should keep in your mind while you draw a graph and diagram. They have specified total 6 points. First I will tell you all 6 points, then I will explain you. First is choice of type of a diagram or graph and the presentation. That was number 1. Second is clarity. Third part is scales and measures. Fourth is representation of axis. Next is data table and source of data. And last is method of calculating the data. So first is choice of a type of a diagram or graph and the presentation. The individual should choose a proper diagram or graph so that we can come to a proper conclusion. Suppose for a statistical data is available in front of you, the individual should choose a diagram. Suppose you want someone to visualize a picture or should follow the rules and regulations, at that time I can say the individual should draw a diagram. So that is the difference. the one should know whether he has to draw a diagram or graph. Next part is clarity. In clarity, the all things you are specified in your diagram and graph should be clear. It should not be a complicated. वो एकदम कंफ्यूजिंग नहीं होना चाहिए, प्रॉपर वे में एक दूसरे को समझ में आना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज स्केल्स एंड मेजर्स. आपने सीखा है ग्राफ में कि जब भी हम ग्राफ ड्रॉ करते हैं तभी हम टॉप कॉर्नर में हम स्केल लिखते हैं. एक्स एक्सिस इज इक्वल्स टू 1 यूनिट, वाई एक्सिस इज इक्वल्स टू 10,000 एंड सो एंड सो. सो हमें प्रॉपर वे में स्केल्स को भी शोकेस करना है. नेक्स्ट इज रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ एक्सिस. You should properly represent the axis. That is, we can say that on horizontal it is an x-axis, on vertical it is a y-axis. X-axis belongs to so and so, and y-axis belongs to so and so. Next is data table and source of data. From where you are getting the data, how you are creating a diagram or graph, how you are monitoring the data, how you are properly visualizing it. That the individual should keep in mind. And last part is method of calculating the data. Suppose when you are drawing a graph, at that situation there are some statistical data. In that the formula should be applied. जब भी आप डेटा रहता है आपके तो आपको उसके ऊपर से एक कंक्लूजन लाना पड़ता है. आप कंक्लूजन कैसे लाओगे? उस पे फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करोगे तब. सपोज मीन, मीडियन, मोड, ये सब चीज है, उसको हम उसके फॉर्मूलाज में सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे तब हमें आंसर मिलेगा. तो यही सब चीज हमें डायग्राम और ग्राफ में भी अप्लाई करना है. देखना है कि प्रॉपर मेरा जो डेटा है उससे एक्यूरेट प्रॉपर एग्जैक्ट रिजल्ट मुझे मिलता है क्या नहीं. दिस ऑल 6 पॉइंट्स you should keep in mind while drawing a graph and diagram. In next lecture we will understand regarding the types of diagram